Caden Honeycutt brings him to the green flag here in Darlington, and we're off.
You see a lot of wheel spin there in the front row. Carson Hocevar spun his tires in the lane. Is going to help the bottom lane push through 2, maybe 3 trucks.
So hard to run too wide right there. You see how dirty the track is. Not a lot of people have run out of that one groove that you burned in through practice.
That's right. Bottom of 3 wide for Carson, trying to get some track position back that he lost on the jump. Looks like he's going to regain second place. A really good move by Carson.
Yeah, he must have got a big run off of turn 2 from the top side and just carried a huge run, and he goes right back to the back of Honeycutt into turn 1.
Another 3 wide. Ross Chastain into turn 1. You don't really see that very often. These guys really confident. These Cup guys, you know, you can really tell that they're really experienced with this. And
whoa,
he's got his hands full there.
I think he was still out there. I think I might have caught him by surprise. But the 88 truck was still out there, I think.
Yeah, it looked like it just barely caught the tail end of the bumper right there. But as you come off of turn 2 over here, you'll see these guys
again.
You'll see these guys bounce off of turn 2, and I think that sometimes you bounce up the racetrack. Oh, we got one on the wall.
Ben Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes.
And it looks like that left front tire is down right there on the Ben Rhodes truck.
You got to think that probably came from contact. But the bigger damage is, look at that right rear. Oh, the right front too.
Can you roll it back to us, Ben? You okay? We done. Motors moved. Motor mounts are completely moved.
Well, let's see what happened right here with Ben Rhodes. It appears that that left front tire got cut down.
It's already down.
And then straight into the fence.
I've been waiting 7 years to take over Kevin Harvick's spot. I've outlasted him. We are here. I'm doing the play-by-play today. I'm up here with 2 of my friends. It's going to be fun. I'm a little nervous about doing the play-by-play, if I'm being for real.
Well, now you can do this promo since you're in charge. Go ahead.
Sure, I would love to. If you're missing football, here's your answer. The United Football League returns with a new season of real pro football. Don't miss UFL kickoff weekend, March 27th through the 29th on Fox and ESPN.
I like it. Good job.
Nailed it.
Man.
Well, you see Ben Rhodes go into the garage right here. Obviously, he wasn't happy. He felt like you'll see him. That's how we talk right there with our hands, and you can see that somebody obviously pinched him up into the fence or cut that left front tire down. One or the other. It's hard to tell, but without seeing the video. But I think you see his new crew chief right there, Cale Gale. He actually drove our KHI cars back in the day.
I used to race against Cale Gale in late models, and I was in the race. Remember, he won that truck race in Homestead?
That's right.
In, I think, 2013, possibly. And Cale was a heck of a wheelman. Heck of a wheelman.
Yeah, so his first week with Ben Rhodes as the crew chief on that 99 truck, but driver of the 99 not happy.
That's a real heartbreaker. You know, you come down here, you practice, you qualify, you get ready for the race. You want to go at least see what your truck has. The real bummer part about it is you don't even know how to make it better next time because you don't know what you had in the race. So it just sets you back for more than one race when you come back here next time.
Well, another guy that's been racing pretty hard is Ross Chastain. And it's not that we don't expect Ross Chastain to race hard, but it's still pretty early. You see him up the racetrack right there and kind of squeezes his way almost up the racetrack in front of Ty Majeski into a pretty tight hole right there. But then does it again right over here off of turn 4, and Ty said, well, I'm going to make you think about this all the way into turn 1. Stays right on his bumper, pushes him into turn 1. So some pretty close calls right there for Ross.
You think Ross was just puckered up all the way down the front straightaway saying, I hope he lets go. You see a tight squeeze here, though. He's trying to get in there. And, I mean, it is lap, 1.5 at that moment.
Let's hear some radio from the 45.
Take a look, Brandon. But I mean, I had close calls with the right front and right rear. And I did get pushed pretty good by the 88. You want to look at both corners?
Well, everything looks good from here, Ross. If you need anything, let us know. But no damage. Got away with that, just a little scratch right there on the back bumper, or is that a tow hook? I can't tell.
A little scratch, but
a little scratch.
I think it looks pretty good.
No toe hook.
If it looks like
there.
that at the end of the night, then it's a pretty good. Oh yeah, look at that. Right rear is flared out just a little bit. Oh, that might have actually helped him.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing to see if you're driving that truck.
Extra
you want a little rear side force there, and it'll definitely be needed here as the tires wear out. Something I see there too, you see two of the Cup guys, two of the aggressive Cup guys too, Ross Chastain, Carson Hocevar, on lap 1, they are racing to get that track position. I think that's, yes, it's aggressive. Some would say, yes, lap 1, what are you doing? Well, the flip side to that is if you can get some track position, you can manage your truck for the long run. If you get stuck back there in 8th, 10th, 5th, somewhere further back, you got to use tires to pass those trucks throughout the run. So if you can get a couple early, being aggressive, then you're going to get a reward. It is early, though, so that would be the other side of the argument. But everybody races different, and that's why it's fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think that those guys know that if they let Honeycutt just get out there and lead this thing, he's going to probably drive off on the long run because his truck was really good in practice. Now, they did practice during the day, and we are racing at night. So we could see they've obviously all made some adjustments on their trucks, but we do have different conditions.
So now I'm interested to watch this restart here. If you look at the front row, when we get back to that shot, you're going to see kind of the same front row we had to start the race with Honeycutt on the inside, Hocevar on the outside. Hocevar, he spun his tires on the initial start. It's going to be even easier to spin your tires, right? Harder to hook them up on this start. Maybe he'll find a little bit of an adjustment to try to ease to the throttle a little bit better, possibly now that he knows it's coming his way. I'll be interested to see if that top lane hangs a little better this time or not.
Well, Caden Honeycutt still has control of this race as he leads them into the restart zone for restart number 2. See Hocevar roll right up to that box. That was really close on the outside, but he knew that if he didn't get going, he wanted to try to not spin the tires by using that momentum.
Corey Heim immediately pokes to the bottom of Caden Honeycutt. Going to be door to door off of 2. We'll see if Hocevar tries the bottom of 3 right here if he gets a good run like he did the first lap. Here it comes. Oh, we tried. Heim was ready for it.
Heim's going to clear him. Yeah. What a move by Corey Heim into turn 1, right? He pushed Honeycutt into turn 1 with the momentum and then just turned underneath him as soon as he could after his first little kink in turn 1. What a good, pro move right there.
Well, Corey Heim, I mean, he's done everything that you can possibly do in the truck series, and I feel like one thing he does is put his truck in a lot of good spots to take advantage of it. As you see this group right here, still going at it. Lane Riggs down there in the 34 on the bottom, Ross Chastain up high.
That's the lane Ryan Blaney was talking about on the very, very bottom, below those hash marks in 3 and 4. There's a little bit of grip down there, especially at night.
We got a great race between the top 4 here.
Oh. We heard Christopher Bell talk about how loose his truck was. You see his and Hocevar's truck right there get a little bit sideways as they went through the exit of the turn 1 right there. But I do believe that Honeycutt has the best truck. And I think as you look around him, there's 3 Toyotas right there. They were all pretty good in practice. And I'm sure that there, as Christopher Bell is going to go by Caden Honeycutt.
Yeah, Bell made a good move, getting up to the top side, getting the momentum, being able to cross over Honeycutt. And Hocevar is going to try to follow through on the bottom here.
You see Hocevar run lower through the middle of 1 and 2. You kind of see that shortcut, especially when tires get wore out. But it's just it's all about putting the top guy in a bad spot, right? If you can kind of shortcut that, get to their left rear quarter panel, you kind of force him to lift. And now he's going to clear Honeycutt here for 3rd. So Honeycutt struggling a little bit getting going, but be curious to see his speed. As we saw, he was fast 10, 15, 20 laps into a run in practice.
And I feel like like I said, I feel like the inexperience of Honeycutt right here is something that crew chief's got to get on the radio and say, hey man, just take a deep breath. These guys are all really good at this racetrack, have a lot more experience than you. You've got a really fast truck. Don't tear it up.
Yeah, he's got 3 absolute dogs in front of him that know how to drive really, really fast and really, really well. And there goes Christopher Bell on the bottom. Made one move on the top. He said, all right, I'll try the bottom and go that way. It's not over yet, though.
Now you see Heim shoot to the bottom, and Bell's going to be able to
get loose.
Yeah, it's so easy to get loose right there. And one is you're underneath somebody trying to go back up that hill.
You saw,
William Swallich around right there in the 1 truck.
Straight back out, still green right now. Yellow's out, yellow. Get it turned around, leader.
Well, now you have a situation. The caution came out with 14 laps or so on your tires. Yeah, we had a caution there. Maybe there's, maybe 8 laps, 9 green flag lap on your tires. That's not going to help his tires. He's definitely he's pitting anyways. Do you want to waste? You kind of have 1 burner set, if you will. You have 1 extra set. I don't think I want to use it quite yet, but maybe if you're in the back and you're looking to get track position, it'd be a gutsy call, but if you got nothing to lose, maybe you take a look at it.
Let's see if we can find a replay right here of what happened.
Looks like he's probably going to get aero loose. Yeah, just gets in there, gets free underneath the 42. It's kind of in a weird aero spot, right? 2 guys in front of him. He probably entered and the front didn't turn, and then he got in a really bad spot, and then the side force was taken away and ended up spinning around. A good job of saving it, though. No damage, tires, and try to re-rack and go again.
Inside the 16 truck of Justin Haley right here. Yeah, and I think when they split like that, it put him in a real spot, and then he realized that he was going to slide up into the outside truck right there. William was running 22nd right there when he had that spin. Austin, what do you have down there?
Yeah, guys, standing here with Ben Rhodes. Obviously, this is never the fun part. Ben, we don't have too many great angles of what happened there, but obviously early in the race, a lot of damage. What you got?
Yeah, the 18 Tyler Ankrum tried to clear himself in front of me coming off of turn 4, or just simply, used up too much room the track. His right rear hit our left front, broke the fender loose, and then going down the straightaway, I was fine. But as soon as I turned the wheel, that moved the tire into the fender and popped the tire instantly going into turn 1. So not much I can do about that. I'm pretty angry about it, but I don't know what to do about it. A lot of these guys in the truck series have a bad habit of if they think they're clear, they just go ahead and try to take it and hope the other guy lifts. But, my nose was there, I was there, and as we all know, the top prevails down the front stretch at Darlington. You have the momentum. So just really disappointed in that. Really hate that for my team. Well, I think we had a really solid F-150 today. Even though we were starting where we were at, I think we would have had a really good race. So this puts us back in points and just bad showing. Yeah, not good.
Copy. Sorry about your night, Ben. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Austin. Well, Ben's obviously frustrated with everything that happened with that situation as he entered today second in the points. So we all know the new chase format puts you in a position to where you got to get those points every week, and DNFs are not good.
No, they're not. And pit road's open here. I don't see we're gonna see many guys come in and put tires on it this early going, but saving them to the end is probably a good call. Well, we have had a very eventful night to start this race here in Darlington. Only get better from here. Thank you for joining. We'll see you back here in a little bit. Welcome back to NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing from Darlington. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick with you up in the booth. A couple cautions so far this evening, but we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here.
Well, we're going to have a really old tire restart here, which in the Cup Series we don't have to deal with this much, but in the Truck Series this is a little more common for them.
Well, you see Christopher Bell took the top.
I'm a little bit surprised by that. Are you?
Yeah. A little bit. As the leader, I feel like you can control the launch more, right? So the top is maybe slicker, but I think he wants to, he just wants to enter even with the 5 into 1, but both lanes getting really good pushes. Corey Himes going to clear, and possibly Carson Hosford. No.
Yeah, both of those front row guys had pushers behind them. I always felt like in the truck, and you see one truck in the wall right there, up on the outside.
Just trying to get to the bottom.
Looks like Lane Riggs right there in the 34 truck got into the wall right there in the middle of the corner.
By one.
And these trucks are not like the O'Reilly cars and the Cup cars. And you guys are both looking into turn 1, because that's what usually happens next, is that right front tire goes down. And that's why Lane was moving to the bottom of the racetrack right there. He was just wanting to give himself room and fill that truck out to see if that tire was flat. These trucks are so fragile. They're not like the Cup and O'Reilly cars with the body parts.
He said he's coming this time. I think he said the right front is going down.
Ty Majeski and Lane Riggs get together in turn 1. Just a little bit of a squeeze.
Yeah, it's just racing there. It's just tight.
Yeah, and that wasn't really like the Ben Rhodes and Akram situation. That was more of those deals where he tried to turn in and Majeski didn't make it, hadn't turned down the hill yet right there. And when you touch like that, a lot of times those things are like magnets. They just get stuck together in that section of turn 2 where you're trying to go back down the hill on the exit. Ricky.
Yeah, down here on my end of pit road, the 5 complaining of a little tight off of turn 2, which obviously getting that clean air here on this restart is very important for him. But to your point, Kevin, Caden Honeycutt, as soon as you talked about what his crew chief needed to tell him, that's exactly what Scott Zipadelli was telling him, to hang in there. Don't let these guys rattle you. They'll come back to you. We're good on the long run, so don't wear your tires out. So that was the message he had to him. And down here in the 45 pit, he's been fighting tight all day, so that right rear flare that y'all were talking about on his right rear quarter panel, probably not helping the tightness for Ross Chastain in that 45.
Thanks, Ricky.
You can see Ross there. He's trying to work the top, trying to do some different things. We also saw Caden Honeycutt, like Ricky was saying. He's hanging pretty strong now. He's 4th place, but he's less than a second behind the leaders. That shows me that, yeah, he probably does have a really good long-run truck, and if it lasts long enough, maybe he can pass some of those trucks in front of him.
And you see how big these trucks are. You got big stood-up windows, big wide front ends. And when you heard Honeycutt talking earlier, as you see one truck get loose right there off of turn 2. In traffic, they will not turn as well. With the aero tight and everything that comes with all the aerodynamics that go with these trucks. So that's why this track is so narrow. Track position becomes so important.
This is fun when you watch the different lines. You see Jake Garcia try to run the bottom. The 13 truck said, yeah, no, I don't think so. Moved it down right in the middle of the corner. But this is the part of the run where it gets a lot of fun, right? You're 25 laps in. The truck doesn't do anything good at this point, right? You're not turning good. You're not accelerating good. You're kind of all, it's along for the ride, tiptoeing around, going fast, but you're tiptoeing around. Tanner Gray, Christian Eckes here through 1 and 2. It's pretty tight through 1 and 2. Anytime you see 2 trucks go side by side into turn 1, you take a deep breath for a second.
Yeah, and these trucks are just, they're so momentum based. So if you can keep that outside line rolling, you can keep that guy pinned down. We've got a little bit of audio as we see a race for 2nd place right here between Christopher Bell and Carson Hocevar.
Yeah, I don't know how Hocevar got it around him there.
It looks to me like Bell's truck is out of control.
Yeah, he talked about being free in practice today. Truck was just out of control, loose, and he said it hung on for 20 laps, and we probably got close to about 20 laps of green flag racing on his tires. So they're going to have to make some adjustments to that as the race goes on.
And this is when Honeycutt's just got to be patient. You see that truck in front of you is not handling like he wants it to, and you got to know that every lap that goes by, if your truck is handling good at Darlington and his is handling that bad, you're probably going to drive right by him, no problem, in a moment where he just misses the bottom or gets on the gas too soon.
Well, something I'm sure Bell doesn't like is see how he's packing air on it. Look at him getting loose, chasing him up the racetrack. Bell's already loose.
He's in big trouble.
When Honeycutt's able to pack air like that on the rear spoiler of that truck and loosen him up, that's what allowed him to make that pass, get up underneath him, and Bell's like, have at it, bud. I'm just going to try to get to the end of the stage here, and we're working on it. And here's another great example of how loose he is.
Yeah, the bad thing for Bell is he's still got 15 laps to go. That thing is, that truck is very, very free right now. And we saw it fire off good, which free race cars usually fire off good, and now they start to struggle. But let's get back to Lane Ridge. We thought he was going to pit, but he ended up staying out. Let's see what he had to say.
Front sub, just toes knocked out really tight. Wait, get a hammer. We're going to hit the right front 2-3 times if we come down here. 3 big whacks.
Yeah, and I don't know how he set his wheel to start with, but you see that orange line on the steering wheel right there. It still looks pretty straight. Usually it's a little offset, one way or the other, usually. But it looks pretty straight right there. But I think a lot of it is probably that right front fender making it push.
Ross has gotten swiped a couple times, more than a couple, off the bumper.
Well, all right, we are going to do a double box break. You won't miss a thing. We'll be right back here in Darlington.
Welcome back to Darlington Raceway. You didn't miss a thing. You saw Clayton Green go around right there, but the track stayed green. So we're going to get closer to the end of this stage as we're watching this battle for the lead. And we were talking about it during the break. There's a lot of things on the line right here as you look at this battle with Corey Heim leading, who has now led in his last 28 starts, tying Kyle Busch's record of most consecutive races led. So that's impressive, but he used to drive this 11 truck. What are all the scenarios here, Joey?
I mean, I think it's big. If you're Caden Honeycutt, you're trying to prove that you're a good race car driver, and you have the best truck out there if you go off of stats over the last couple years that Corey Heim's been driving that 11 truck. And guess who's right in front of you? The guy that won all the races in a different truck up there. you're trying to prove that you're just as good as Corey Hyman. Oh, yeah, Scott Cipodelli, the crew chief, he's trying to prove that, hey, it wasn't just the driver. I had a good car as well. Everyone's trying to prove themselves here.
Yeah, you know, someone I want to highlight as well, Christian Eckes. I mean, you know, he's passed Majeski, Hocevar, Christopher Bell up to third. He's really run these guys down quick. He's been 2 to 3 tenths faster than these guys every single lap. Austin, you got anything else on Christian Eckes?
Yeah, Ryan, you just totally took my moment there. I was going to talk all about Christian Eckes moving up 13 spots, but you covered it great. So past that, he just came on the radio after only a couple laps in this run. He says, hey, we're really good here. They feel really good about their long run speed and practice, and it's showing. They're up to third.
Yeah, he's ripping right now. I mean, he's, like you said, 2.5 to 3 tenths per lap. Just reeling them in. Might run out of time, though.
And I want to say the migration of these top 3 cars in 3 and 4 they've been starting to run the apron. All of them are running the bottom. Heim was running the top. Honeycutt was running him down a little bit. He moved down to the bottom, and he's kind of stabilized the lead. And that's where Christian Eckes is running too. So we talked about different lanes, especially through 3 and 4, how they play, and it seems like everyone has found that this very, very bottom lane has been pretty dominant here to start this race.
Well, I think it's the cleanest, and you can see the difference in the rubber right there as people are starting to run that bottom lane. I used to like to take that right front tire and hook it on those hash marks to kind of rip it around the corner right there. But as you go through 1 and 2 right here, as you see, Honeycutt has gotten right to the back bumper of Corey Heim. You see right there where Eckes is running behind these guys, it's just cleaner, and that usually results in more grip.
Well, you see Honeycutt's getting closer to Heim. He's starting to feel the pressure of Eckes, and there's 4 to go here in the stage. He's going to try to move up the racetrack here. Don't want to follow him. Got to try something different.
He's going to
get a good run.
Might not be enough to get to his quarter panel, but now it's decision time. Okay, where do I enter turn 1 here? It's narrow. He's going to try to squeak to his outside, which is a
tough move. Merry Christmas.
Eckes going to go by both of them right here through the middle of 1 and 2.
Yeah, while you guys are dealing with that, I'll take advantage of that. See you later.
Yeah, what a great move by Christian Eckes right there. Those guys had to check up just a little bit, and he's been rolling that bottom so well, was able to drive right by him.
And Eckes is being super patient on the bottom of 3 and 4. We saw Heim, he kind of slides up off the bottom. It takes 3 feet. Honeycutt's going to get a big run on Heim here, probably going to get second. But Eckes is being really patient down there on the apron, finishing low, entering low, never leaving that seam that's on the bottom of the racetrack. And that's what's really making a ton of time. And like we saw he did the previous lap, he's running a lane and a half lower through 1 and 2, kind of getting into cleaner racetrack. And that's really paying dividends. I bet every spotter is telling their driver what's happening right now at the lanes.
I enjoy listening to these trucks go around the corner right now. They're just off the gas so much, just rolling, and they're going so slow. They're over, 3.5 seconds slower than what their fast lap was. They're just putting around trying to get to the end here. They have no tire left.
We see Lane Riggs go to 4th here, passing Carson Hocevar. We thought he was going to pit. They said on the radio that they were going to come and pit, and then he saw he had more contact. They were going to get a hammer out. I'd kind of leave it because he seems to be moving pretty good right now. So things have turned around for Lane Riggs after he thought they were going to have to make an unscheduled pit stop.
Yeah, and you see right here, Christian Eckes going to take the white or coming to the last lap of this first stage right here. We've had a couple of spin outs, and I don't know that as we had those cautions and went through the first part of this stage that we would have said, hey, Christian Eckes is probably going to win this stage, because I didn't see him coming in from anywhere until the last 15 laps or so. And all of a sudden, he just started mowing those guys down. But Christian Eckes is going to go through turns 3 and 4 right here and take this first stage.
A good job, patient, like Blaney said, to be able to grab the stage. That's what makes these type of tracks so much fun. Tracks that have a ton of tire fall off, puts on great racing, and sometimes a little bit unpredictable when you watch a longer run play out.
Well, that's Christian Eckes' second stage win at Darlington. Won stage 1 and went on to win the race in 2023. We'll see if he can do it again. check out the all-new Fox Sports digital show Speed with myself and Will Buxton, fueled by Poet. Subscribe to Speed on Fox, on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Well, that was a hell of a first stage, guys. I think as we talked about before we went, Eckes is not the guy I had winning. Christopher Bell's back in 13th, 14th spot. William Swalich up there in 5th after he spun out and came and got tires. A lot of stories.
Well, a lot of things can happen in a first run like that, right? We talked about how there wasn't much practice today. They don't have much time to tune on their trucks. They don't have sets of tires to throw on it to keep working on it. And so you get a long run. It's kind of the first time you really see what your truck has on a long run. Under the lights again at night. Now they're all going to come down pit road, put 4 tires on. And I'm sure probably every single one of these trucks is going to have, well, maybe Christian Eckes may not make changes, but I think the rest of them are going to want some kind of change, whether short run or really aiming for the long run.
I can promise you Christopher Bell is going to change his truck because he's not having fun right now. That thing ran good for about 10 laps and was out of control. So
I'd recommend tighten that sucker up. He looked loose.
Well, it's the first time of the night for pretty much every one of these teams to come onto pit road, and now the pressure is on the pit crews. Don't slide through your pit box. No mistakes. Austin?
Yeah, we got Christian Eckes, the leader, obviously really happy with his race truck. Going to have no changes. Came on the radio, said, this truck is awesome, dude, after he crossed the line. Meanwhile, we got Lane Reyes, kind of flip side of that spectrum. Had some contact, thought he got the front toe knocked out. They're going to put 4 tires on it. They made some spots up at the end of that long run, but not really sure what they got right now. What do you got, Ricky?
Yeah, down here on our end, Seth Smith is going to try and tighten up Corey Haim's race truck. He said he's burning his rear tires off, hanging on for dear life. Now, on the opposite side of that, Ross Chastain is asking Phil Gould to free his truck up. So he's going up on the track bar, make an air pressure adjustment. Caden Honeycutt said he feels like he is losing most of his time down in 1 and 2. Feels like he's just way too loose. He's going to try and put some front brake in it. Scott Zipadelli is going to get him tuned up. He said he's really good in 3 and 4, looking for a little bit better rear grip there in 1 and 2.
Well, they filled them all up with Sunoco race fuel with 0 carbon bioethanol, so they should be all set to get this second stage started.
Yeah, big loser. Christian Eckes losing 5 spots there on pit road. Well, we've lost a legend. Chuck Norris passed away earlier today at the age of 86. He was best known for his legendary acting and martial arts career. He had also had a connection with NASCAR. His son Eric won the 2002 Winston West Series Championship. Chuck also introduced chase drivers at Texas in 2016. Chuck was 86 years old. I got the pleasure to talk with Mr. Norris there in Texas. He was an amazing human being, and he will forever be missed.
You can see on the one tire behind that, one side is a little shiny, and the other side has some
Welcome back to the track too tough to tame, Darlington Raceway. We had a great first stage, and Christian Eckes was able to get us to the stage win, but he did not have a great pit stop. As you see him here, he's going to have a little bit of trouble on the right rear tire, which is going to cost him about 5 spots here on pit road.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we talked about before they came to pit road. Can't make any mistakes on pit road no matter how fast your truck is, but you see him hung up right there on the right rear. Now he's got to do it all over again. And usually as the race goes on, they become a little harder to pass because everybody usually makes their trucks better. So tough situation for the 91.
Well, if his truck's like anything like it was the first run, that thing's going to come alive here, you know, at about 25 laps. So,
right.
But like Kevin said, everyone starts to get their truck a little bit better as the night goes on. So it's harder to make up those spots. So hopefully that rear changer learns from his mistake. And I'm sure they're still going to have the same speed in that truck. And William Sawalich is actually going to start on the front row. We saw him spin earlier and put some new tires on it, got some track position back, finished 5th in the stage. We'll see what he can do with the front row.
Yeah, and he's hoping for no more cautions.
Yes.
He used that first set of tires when he spun out and had to put those on. Got him a good finish in the stage. Gave him the track position, but we've got a little audio from that one truck of William.
How'd those tires look, Jeremy? It's like Darlington used tires, bud. Yeah, they cored up and stuff. Yeah.
The short answer, Darlington used tires, bud. That's what they'll look like after a run.
We see Caden Honeycutt as a leader choosing the bottom lane. The bottom has won every single time. They've had good pushes. They've hooked up their rear tires, and it looks to, again, to get another great push. 2, 3 trucks cleared as they get to the center of 1 and 2.
See, Corey Heim tried to pull that save move on Caden Honeycutt that he did earlier, where he shortcut turn 1, and Caden was ready for it. So he learned from that move and did a great job there of protecting the lead.
Big surprise, Carson Hocevar 3 wide into turn 3. Going to get a couple trucks there. Lost a lot of track position there towards the end of the run. It looked like his tires were a little bit used up.
Ross Chastain to the outside of Corey Heim, going to move up to P2. I'd be curious to see how do these guys approach this run, right? They already had, you know, let's call it 35 green flag laps in the first one. Maybe some guys went too hard, you know, and they fell off at the end of the stage. So do people adjust for that? Lane Riggs is going to clear for P4 here with William Sawalich, but do you adjust to that? Do you take it a little bit easier on the front end? Maybe it's going to benefit me on the back end. So drivers are always adjusting, especially at a high wear racetrack like this.
There you see Christian Eckes into turn 1, trying to gain some of those spots back.
Yeah, we've got some debris on the back straightaway that brought out the caution right here, and I always hated that when you run, see it right there. That's
no.
Now you don't.
Hit it. Looks like he hit it off the grill though. Should be okay. Just a sheet metal.
Well, while they go out there and get that piece of debris, we will take a break. See the fans enjoying the race. We'll be back in just a minute.
Austin, wow, look at you. You've graduated. You know, you were the pit road guy. Look at this driver's only broadcast.
Air conditioning. I know there's a strategy behind why you picked the studio to be your spot to be. So I'm very happy to be here, very comfortable, much more comfortable than the last 2 years I've had to spend on pit road.
Well, Austin, you graduated, and then they just brought you back down to ground level, didn't they? How's pit road doing for you?
Hey, that's show business, baby. I don't know what to tell you. I don't really have a whole lot else to add to the plot. The funny thing was, Lane Riggs actually did have a tire going down. I know you guys have always been in the position where you're telling your team, oh, I have a problem. And they're like, oh, you're the fastest car on the track right now. Well, it's because his right front tire was actually going down. So found that pretty interesting over the course of this caution. I'm having an apple. How's it going down there at the front of pit road, Ricky?
Yes, I'm all the way down here in pit stall 1. The 7 came down and had to clear a tire rub. Talked to Brian Patty, an old-time crew chief of mine. He said that they needed long runs, no cautions. Felt like those cautions were killing them on the long run. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes through the field if we stay green. I will say, Austin, I believe you got the studio last year. I gave up my spot. I had to hang out with family during that race weekend, so you're welcome. But now we're both back on pit road. I'm having a blast down here, especially entry of turn 1. This is one of the best places to watch.
Thanks, Ricky. That turn 1 down there, when you stand down there, I always like sitting in the car or standing next to the car when you were getting ready for qualifying, because that's where you make a lot of the speed. I know in the trucks they run through there, they're wide open, but for you guys on Sunday, come qualifying time, that's always a decision that you have to make.
It's probably better to not watch a car go through turn 1 before you jump in it, because you see it and you go, oh my God, I got to do that? Like, yeah. I have to go do that? It's fast. It's a lot of fun. If it turns when you get there, it's a lot of fun. Well, you see a couple trucks that are clearing fenders. You know, that's something that these truckers got to deal with the steel body. You can't bounce off each other like they do in the Cup Series. So, you know, when you do have that little bit of contact, whether it's with the wall or with other cars, they flatten out that right side and it cuts it down. And it sounded like, from what Austin was saying there for Lane Riggs, it was a slow leaker on the right front. And actually probably helped them, right? Yeah. It's probably just the right amount. But I don't know if you can just assume it's going to be the right amount every single time. Probably best they clear it. They had an opportunity here with this caution to try to fix that. Yeah, and they came back in and actually took a baseball bat and rolled the truck back and forth to clearance that fender. So all the modern technology, and we go back to the old school baseball bat to clear the fenders on these cars with the steel bodies. But coming back to green, 15 laps down. 45 laps total in this stage. We've seen that inside line take off well every time. We'll see if it does it again. Yeah, interesting here. Chastain was second. He could have picked the second row on the bottom, because that has been pretty strong, and it is again. With Corey Heim being able to clear almost. I thought he was. Chastain able to hang. He must have heard me talking about it. He said, watch this. Yeah, and with these trucks, you know, on the restarts, I would assume that you could just hold them wide open, especially on that higher lane on the restarts, to be able to get through 1 and 2 like that. So, you know, I think Ross was probably like, all right, if I only lose 1 row on the restart and I can just stay with that second truck.
Right. Corey Heim kind of bleeding spots here. You know, didn't clear Chastain by 2 feet, you know, through 1 and 2, and they got trapped on the bottom, and now finds himself, you know, in 6th place. So he'll have to re-rack. And we haven't really talked about Ty Majeski much tonight. You know, that Menards 88 Thorsport truck. Ty runs really, really good. His first year running that 88, really putting some great runs together here to start the year, and seems like they made some good adjustments on that truck. Would you call that a throwback paint scheme? Yes, I think so. It's always been. I mean, it's been that way forever. I mean, Matt Crafton drove that truck for like 35 years. True. With that paint scheme on there. So it's not changed at all. Menard's a great supporter of NASCAR racing and this sport, and been on that 88 truck for a long time. See Caden Honeycutt still up front with control of the race. Everybody pretty much single filed out, and Carson Hocevar has worked his way to the 8th position right there.
hasn't really made a lot of noise other than the start of the race today, and kind of faded back, and see him right up next to the fence, which see how much speed you can gain right there through the middle of the corner. You take a lot of chances up there, and I think that's why we see a lot of the field down, but that's where that experience comes in, being able to put it right up next to the fence. We got a battle for the lead.
Look at this. Ross Chastain, the first run of the race, looked average, not great, looked just okay. Now, second run of the race, we talked about it. Crew chiefs had an opportunity to work on it. The drivers gave some good feedback, and the race looks a lot different all of a sudden. Ross Chastain's team obviously making good changes, at least for the short run. He's going to get a good run off of turn 4 here. He's going to get to the inside into turn 1 of Caden Honeycutt, and he's going to clear him.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the lap before. Carson Hocevar got a big run off the top of 3 and 4. Ross Chastain just did it there. We talked first run of the race, the top 3 trucks right on that apron, all the way on the bottom. And now we kind of see the very top. You have to be up against the wall to get the momentum, get that run. So this track changes so much. I mean, it's run to run, it's lap to lap, and it's just all about finding new things all the time. And Ross has found something new that's really gotten him the lead. And Caden Honeycutt's probably going to have to go searching up there. He just got passed on the top.
I was just going to say that puts a lot of pressure on guys that don't have a lot of experience here. And in the trucks, if you hit it once, it's caving the right side in flat. Like, it's not, there's no forgiveness. You can touch it and slide it and with the tail maybe just a little bit, but if you hit that thing flat, the whole thing is caving in on the side of the truck. So a lot of risk right up here where Hocevar is. You see how close he is to the wall, but with the big sides on these trucks and that big spoiler on the back, actually when you get close to the wall like that, it creates the side force and puts a lot of air on the spoiler, and it's like a magnet, but there's a lot of risk running that high line.
When you talk about risk and you think of Carson Hocevar, you think of Ross Chastain, these guys don't care about risk because they're not racing for points. These other guys are racing for points. So if they hit the wall a little bit and they knock the right front fender in, cut down a right front tire, yeah, is it a bummer? Sure. Does it ruin their whole season though? No. So they're willing to take some risks and go where other trucks aren't willing to go and take advantage of them.
Now you see Carson has a high entry into 1 as well. We see Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, those guys be really good at it on the Cup side. And Carson's been doing it really well here. But we just saw Corey Heim took his line away in 3 and 4. Corey's starting to run the very top. So now Carson has to adjust. How do I get by him on the bottom? And Joey talked about that before the race happened of it's so narrow, you burn your stuff up following a guy. So now that you can't run the preferred lane, you really have to figure it out. So this has been a great race so far. We've seen a lot of comers and goers, and you're just going to get more of the action when we come back from break. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome back to Darlington, South Carolina, where you see a race for the lead right now. Caden Honeycutt putting a lot of pressure on Ross Chastain. You've seen that bottom lane kind of prevail the longer that we've run, and Ross just finally give up right there and say, all right, I'm not gonna put my truck in harm's way right here, running it any harder up here next to the fence.
Well, we've seen that Ross Chastain had a really fast short run truck. Maybe he's paying a little price on the long run. Overall, still putting him in position to possibly win this race. Not bad. Right behind him, though, Ty Majeski, also pretty fast here on the long run, able to hang with these guys.
This is a cool one I want to talk about. This is my dad's 1998 Busch Series car. He also ran this car in the Cup Series a little bit. This paint scheme, really, really cool. I always love that scheme. And this is an interesting one. Tim Fedewa, my current spotter, Kevin's old spotter, right underneath my dad right there. Pretty cool full circle moment.
Yeah, you see those spoilers all laid back on the car. Obviously, that's from Daytona. Those were cool looking cars, those Pontiacs that they had with the curved spoiler right there. But that's a pretty darn good throwback.
I always love that car. I have so many die casts of that race car at my house, from his Busch Series to the Cup Series. That's a cool memory.
Here you see the 18 truck right here of Tyler Ankrum go by William Swalich, who had that spin out earlier and had to put a set of tires on. He and Lane Riggs both, they're the one truck of Swalich, have used an extra set of tires. So,
well, and speaking of Lane Riggs, he's up to 10th. And so he put tires, I remember right before we went green here, just a few laps ago, he put 4 tires on to pull his fenders out and all those type of things because he was having a fender rub. He's able to make up a ton of time. He's going to get some good stage points here. He may get up to 5th-ish, maybe possibly here with the newer tires. But if there's a late race caution,
big trouble.
The 34 and the 1 are going to be in a heap of trouble.
Yeah, well, he restarted. Lane Riggs restarted 31st, so he's up to 9th right now, and he's going to get several more as we go through these next several laps. So big moving, and when you're at a deficit like that and you've had problems, you got to get those stage points, right, to protect yourself.
At least get something, right? Like you said, if you got the tires, go grab it while you can, and then just hope it goes green this last stage, and maybe they'll be okay.
Well, we've seen that trend as we've run long runs at Darlington. It's like, and we saw it at the beginning of the race. You know, we saw Swalich spin out, and we had the early trouble with Ben Rhodes. But as you go longer and longer during the race, and everybody gets more comfortable, these guys got 50 minutes of practice today. They were able to run through a couple sets of tires to get themselves on the racetrack and get in a rhythm. But there's nothing like race rhythm and adjustments on the truck and everything that you've got going on. So they just get better and better every lap.
Here Lane in there working the throttle a lot, trying to figure out how he can make some pace. And this is a good reminder for Darlington on Sunday at 3 o'clock on FS1. They had 4 awesome looking drivers on that promo. Appreciate that.
I mean, when you're on the broadcast, you own the promo.
I mean, you kind of have to. It just feels like, I mean, it's the right thing to do.
I had a fan ask me the other day. They're like, "Well, why are you still on the drivers only broadcast?" I'm like, "Well, because we started it and we're making the rules, so don't argue with us."
That's right.
Finally, we get to make the rules in something.
That's right.
And you're still driving.
I am still driving. Yeah, that's fair. But on the graphic, they should at least give me a number.
I love listening to the onboard of Lane Riggs here, right? You can just hear how much he feathers his throttle. I'd love to stay on this shot for a lap here. Listen to the differences in the turn 1 and 2 throttle to 3 and 4 and how much he has to feather.
Yeah, you see Ross Chastain right now. He's really starting to back up, and he's backed himself up enough to where it's drug in 2 or 3 other guys behind Ty Majeski. So we saw that 91 truck right there behind the 88 of Ty Majeski be really good at the end of the last run, and now you're starting to see the same thing from the 91 truck of Christian Eckes.
Yeah, Eckes is fast again, you know, and he lost all those spots on pit road there. He lost 5+ spots, lost a couple more on the restart, and this is his time, right? We've seen it already. That 91 truck, that black and gold white one, he is good on the long haul, and he needs these long runs. And the problem is there's only 5 laps to capitalize right now, so you don't have the time to make up for it. So he's got to have better pit stops, better restarts, so he can really gain some of this track position back that he needs.
Yeah, you saw the lap car right there in the middle of them, and we go back to the in-car camera and that noise, and you listen to that motor, and you were like, it's like you have an egg on the gas pedal, and you hear Lane Riggs right here through 3 and 4 as you see Minnie Tyrell right there in a 14 truck slide up in front of him. But it is such a finesse racetrack, and you go with the slide, a little bit of throttle on, a little bit of throttle off, and right here you just kind of pedal it to just set the rear tire to get the thing in the racetrack, and it's such a finesse racetrack with the throttle pedal.
We're good here. Coming back to 4 to go into stage P8.
And like I said, it's fun to listen to it. And it feels like you're going so slow, but you're absolutely out of control. Like just sliding, like that turn 3 entry part, you just feel like, oh, I hope it turns when you get there. If not, you smush the wall.
And as you come off of turn 2 right here, you'll see that black line right there in the racetrack. This is actually a new patch of asphalt. Big bump right there off of turn 2, right where it doesn't need to be. It's like they put that bump in that spot on purpose, but it is right in the wrong spot.
You know, and this racetrack is so slick. There's a lot of times, especially on old tires, you kind of go back to the gas, go back harder in the middle, and then you have to kind of pedal back out to get the car to settle again before the exit. So there's a lot, you know, certain tracks it's kind of a more of a gradual throttle increase. Here it's a little bit more off and on throttle, just the way that the corners are shaped and your truck is sliding around. So that's the neat thing about this racetrack is it's not just progressively getting more throttle. It's kind of on and off and on and off. And as a driver, you're just judging that by the seat of your pants, which makes it such a fun but challenging racetrack as well.
Because you're doing all that and your truck drives different every single lap, right? What you did the lap before isn't going to work the next lap because a little bit more tire fell off. Or you get in a little bit of traffic and that truck you thought was going to run the bottom all of a sudden runs the top right in front of you. Here's a battle for 4th. Corey Heim. We were talking about Eckes on the long run. Might have taken my eyes off of Corey Heim for too long.
Yeah, and that happened the first run with Eckes, but as we come to 1 to go here in the second stage, it has been all Caden Honeycutt on this particular run. He has put himself in charge of this race. And we knew he had a fast truck, but we saw in the first stage he kind of got behind a few of those guys and wasn't able to make up the track position, and Eckes come on late. But that has not been the case, and that's why they raced him so hard in the first stage, because they knew if they got through those first 10 laps of the stage, he'd do exactly this, take off and hide, and he wins stage 2. 4th career stage win for Caden Honeycutt and his first of 2026. So starting to rack up some of those points tonight at Darlington. Well, Caden Honeycutt, winner of stage 2. Can he finish that off and then win his first race of the year?
Tomorrow, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and Cup Series will take to the track for practice and qualifying, followed by O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on the CW.
Welcome back to Darlington Raceway. A lot of racing this weekend. And, man, I can't wait until Sunday. I'm so glad that I'm never glad that I'm sitting in the booth here because this was such a fun place to drive. But I think I am glad that I'm sitting in the booth, 86 degrees, in cars that seem to be like they're going to be a handful.
Oh, it's going to be a handful. We're going to be slipping and sliding, and the new aero package here, the added horsepower, all of those things just add to harder to drive and more fun. I'm excited. I think the 11 truck has a little bit of radio action for us. Let's take a listen.
I wasn't trying to be rude whenever I said less talking. His racetrack takes so much focus, and I'm trying to listen to the tire and things like that. So sorry if I came across rude there.
Here's a Kyle Busch with up in your skin. Fine. That was a good segment.
Yeah. Well, Caden's a pretty fiery guy. You see his crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, right there up on the pit box. Obviously, a ton of success with Corey Heim, and really this whole Tricon team has done a great job. Caden's a fiery guy, and I think it's going so good right now. He's apologizing for things to make sure that the team stuff stays where it is. But I think a lot of times those guys appreciate the fire. Well, the fuel strategy right here, guys, is pretty tight, honestly. But you've got 57 laps in this stage, and you're going to need every drop of fuel. So better fill it up. Sponsored by Zero Carbon. Filling up with Sunoco race fuel with zero carbon ethanol is what everybody's going to do right here. Austin?
Yeah, we've started pit stops here. Christian Eckes, dominant truck in stage 1. A little too loose this run. That's what they're going to try and work on here for stage 3, get that dominant long run speed back. Meanwhile, Ty Majeski struggling with too much migration over the run. Ricky?
Yeah, Caden Honeycutt pulls into his pit stall here, getting him 4 tires. Kevin, y'all were laughing about his radio transaction. I felt like the 11's looking like a veteran on the racetrack and starting to sound like one already. So really cool to see the progress that he's able to be super smooth and patient with that. Corey Heim's asking for his rear tires to last longer. He said anytime he hits the throttle, it just blows the rear tires off of it. Ross Chastain is looking to get a little bit tighter. They freed up the last stop, but doesn't want to go back down on the track bar. So he's looking for a little extra snug in the rear tires before the end of this thing. But this long run will be interesting to see here.
Well, thanks, Ricky. Caden Honeycutt leads him out. He was confident in his pit crew in his pre-race interview, and they've done exactly what they need to do. Sunday, the NASCAR Cup Series is on FS1. Catch the best of the best as they go full throttle at Darlington. The checkered flag for the Goodyear 400 flies Sunday. Let me check that again. The green flag for the Goodyear 400 flies Sunday at 3 Eastern with pre-race action beginning at 1:30 only on FS1.
They set you up.
I'd like
there,
to
Kevin.
point out they set you up for failure. They
Well,
gave you the wrong script.
I did read the script, and then I recognized that it was not right, so I just corrected it. Hey, you know what? That's the way it goes, and sometimes you got to adapt and adjust. So that's what we've been doing all night, right?
That's what these truckers are doing all night. They have to adapt and adjust, whether it's on pit road or on the racetrack, lap to lap, short run to long run. It's been fun watching this whole thing play out. But one thing for sure, that 11 truck of Caden Honeycutt has the truck to beat. But we know on the short run, that has not been the fastest truck. And I think who's lining up right next to him is one of those trucks that has a lot of speed here on the restart. You see it there, the 45 of Ross Chastain.
Yeah, and Chastain has just been, he's been really good at the beginning. We've seen how aggressive that he's been the whole night on the restarts, and even at the very beginning of the race, trying to push that truck into places that it probably didn't fit. So he's going to be aggressive, and I think it goes back to what we talked about in stage 1. You do not want to let that 11 truck get too far out on this restart, because if you do, and the caution doesn't come out, most likely you're not going to catch him.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys are thinking of how can we put the 11 truck in a bad spot on this restart, because he is so fast into a run. If it goes green, this is going to be the longest run that we have had. The first stage was 45 laps. This is going to be 49 to go. So be curious to see what everyone's thinking, and be curious to see what Carson Hocevar is thinking here.
Yeah, 7th looks identical. So change that. They cannot be the same color. I called you in from 5 away. I thought you heard me. We'll get the pit sign changed. I did, but I see, like, I'm looking at the sign. It's what name? Just throw away because we get. You're gonna have a yellow. This race ain't over, man.
That's a lot of beeping, guys. I know it sounds like a truck backing up.
Well, here we go. I don't have anything else to say.
All right, here we go. Corey Himes pushing into turn 1 in that 5 truck. Is he going to try to pull the same move? He can't quite pull it off.
Caden's done a good job of protecting that since the first restart of the race. You know, he's entering low, kind of taking the air out of the nose of Corey Himes' truck. And, you know, Ross Chastain didn't get the restart that he wanted to. He's going to dive to the inside of Corey Himes here, try to get back to second. Looks like he's going to, and you know he's going to be looking for the lead like he did the start of the first, the run of the previous restart.
I mean, Ross knows his situation here. He knows, he's smart enough to know, I got a fast truck for 15 laps, and I need to get it while I can.
And I think that the other thing that is impressive to me, I know Caden Honeycutt has run races, but now he's learning how to race at the front of the racetrack, controlling the races on the restart, all the things that he really hasn't done at a super high level. He's done them sporadically, but doing them consistently like he's had to do tonight. But it's different when you're having to be the leader of the race, and you know that you're way better than everybody else. Everybody there wants to put you in a bad spot, and I think he's done a good job. And we've seen the progression since that first stage.
Lane Riggs is really trying to make a lot of ground up here early. He's gained a couple spots on the restart. He just passed Ty Majeski for 4th. He is pushing his truck early, right? He's one of the guys that I need track position right now. Let me see if I can get it and then see how my truck holds on. But he's been making some really bold news. High entry into 1 already on the restart has really paid off for him.
And the thing is, yes, 46 laps to go. This could be the longest run of the race if it does go green. The other thing for Lane Riggs, he has 1 set of tires left, where the majority of trucks have 2 sets of tires left. So depending on how cautions fall out, he may be okay. He might be in trouble. He's hoping for some long green flag runs, in other words.
And it's been really interesting, you know, with the 77 truck right here of Carson Hocevar. You know, we heard him on the radio. We kind of saw, I mean, he didn't look like he was in a great mood in his pre-race interview with Austin, and now we hear his radio. He was mad at everything, and so sometimes that's a good thing for a driver, but sometimes that can be detrimental to the things that you're trying to accomplish. So Hocevar is always, we call him the Hurricane for a reason.
You know what I think it is, guys? When we were driving down here to Darlington earlier today, I had a transit van full of 5 kids screaming about my car. And we passed Carson Hocevar in his little sports car, and all I thought, you know, maybe the van passing him down the road was something I got to him.
Well, first off, I don't even know how. You have a van?
Yes. There's 5 kids in there, and yeah, it's a big time in there. The van is the way to go if you have kids. Van life is a real thing.
Learn something every day. See the 15 right there of Tanner Gray. He had a great qualifying effort, and I really thought with all those Toyotas.
Oh
man.
No! He saved it.
Well, he saved it right there with the 26 truck of Dawson Sutton up on the outside. Otherwise, that truck was probably coming around.
Well, if he was loose before, he's going to be wicked loose now, tire down.
Connor Jones in the 42, tire down up against the wall in turns 3 and 4. We'll see if they throw a caution. He cannot get the cautions out.
And Lane Riggs is going, oh no.
Yeah.
What do you do, right? You're 4th place. You got a lot of laps left, 42 laps to go. You got 15 on your tires. Most everyone, I think, is going to probably put on a set here. Here's a replay.
Yeah, and you saw him clip the apron right there. And when he came up off the apron, that truck just got right next to the 26 truck of Dawson Sutton and got loose. See it come off the apron. Just no air on the right side of that 42 truck. And
you know, these trucks are so reliant on side force, right? And the Cup cars aren't really like that these days, right? There's no side force on them already, so they don't really get that free inside of someone anymore. But these trucks, Xfinity cars, when you have the side-by-side into turn 1 like that, like the 42 was hoping he would clear the 26 into turn 1, and then he could use racetrack. But the 26 drove in just as deep as him, so he was in a terrible spot. Nothing of his doing, just kind of by circumstance of loss of air and clipping the apron, just all bad things. So hopefully they can get that thing repaired and back underway.
yeah, and Connor was actually doing a really good job. He was actually running 15th before that accident, so had a pretty solid night going for the amount of experience that he has in these trucks, which is pretty limited.
I want to go back, Joey, what you were talking about. If you're Lane Riggs,
I think you got to stay.
You got to stay, right?
I think you got to stay. You got 1 set left of 41 to go. You got to hope other trucks stay with you. I don't know if any will.
Yeah, and that's the problem. If you stay, I mean, you're going to be last.
Gosh, it's tough. I mean, this is the worst possible scenario. He's coming. I mean, he would have gotten used up if he stayed out. Austin.
Yeah, Timon Jesse's obviously coming in, put on 4 tires. He's just struggling to get in the corner right now, but the big story on my end of pit road, Lane Riggs, he's got that final set of stickers. Looks like they're going to put him on. The last thing they got is 3-lap scuff, so big trouble for 34. What do you got, Ricky?
Yeah, Caden Honeycutt was asking how many sets of tires they had. They said 2. He said, good, let's take 1 set right now. Be interesting to watch the 45 and all the niche trucks. They have in-house pit crews. They don't have any Cup pit crews. So if Ross Chastain holds serve here or gains spots, that's a pit crew that's done in-house, which is very rare these days. So Caden Honeycutt's leaving pit road here. Looks like he's going to win the race off pit road. 45 right behind him. So those guys are doing a great job holding serve for Ross Chastain.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ricky. When you have a truck team that does your pit crew in-house, your pit stop practices and everything, and you're keeping up with all these guys that are coming from O'Reilly and Cup and all the different teams, that's pretty impressive. Caden Honeycutt up front. We'll see if he can finish it off. Welcome back to Darlington Raceway as we get close to wrapping up the end of this race. 38 laps to go. Caden Honeycutt has been the dominant truck as we've gone through this race, so we'll see if we can finish that off. Join Fox in supporting our troops from daily needs to global emergencies. Help us be there for those who serve. Scan the QR code or visit go.fox/Red Cross to donate to service to the armed forces today.
Well, guys, we're going to have an interesting restart here. I always like pointing out just things I see before this restart happens. Something we see here, the 56 truck, Tim Hill up front. And obviously he is going to be on 15-lap tires. And he's got a pack of hungry animals behind him.
Well, speaking of hungry animals, look at this guy. I mean, every time you give him one break, he's found something to eat.
That's healthier than what I typically see him eat, though. I will say that he's doing good there. Carrots, good for your eyes. That's why we all wear glasses. Eat more carrots, I guess.
So the 4 trucks behind Timmy Hill all took the bottom. Ty Majeski was the first one to jump up to the top. That 56 is not going to launch very well, even though he's controlling the race. So this will be an interesting restart.
Now you see the back of that truck wiggle right there, but for some reason Honeycutt laid way back and didn't really get the advantage that we've seen a lot of those guys get on the restart. He's going to retain the lead, but Ross Chastain, as we've seen so many times tonight, strong on the restarts.
So strong. He's going to be able to pull him back down the straightaway here. But when I'm interested to see what Ross does here, because Ross really has a good fire-off truck.
Clear.
So getting across each other.
Big crossover by Caden Honeycutt, trying to side draft, get away from him. Going to clear into turn 1 and regain the lead again. Another crossover. Swapping crossovers here.
This time Ross is going to be able to pull him back into turn 3. Probably have a better chance of clearing him this time.
Yeah, you see this crossover right here after. Well, this is Ross sliding up in front of Honeycutt, and when you look at this situation right here, Caden Honeycutt drove that 45 truck. Ross Chastain is driving it now, but Caden Honeycutt was actually at Nice Motorsports, and they let him go when he decided that he was going to, jump ship and go to the 11 truck to drive for Tricon Motorsports. So he drove this truck for the first 16 races last year, and then wound up kind of jumping around, and Stuart Friesen got hurt and raced for the championship at the end of the year in his truck. So that's an interesting scenario right there with the 11 and the 45.
Yeah, back to those crossovers, I mean, those are fun to watch, and they both were executed so well, right? Ross knew when he was getting crossed over, he tried to kind of pinch it off of 4 a little bit, because he knew he was about to get crossed, seen it coming, was trying to defend it. And then Ross again making a great move in the middle of 1 and 2, being able to make that move to get back underneath them. And like we said, Ross Chastain, he has the short run speed. Get out there and run while you can, because we know the 11 truck's fast on a long haul.
Carson Hocevar making some moves. We saw he had trouble on pit roads. Restarted way in the back. He's trying to get under Andres Perez here for 6. Going to make it happen. He's really fast on restarts. I think we saw this earlier. And we talked about, right, a little fire under the helmet right there. He might be motivating him.
Yeah, and a couple of trucks behind him, that 91 truck of Christian Eckes, he's obviously had more trouble on pit road, as you see Hocevar to the inside of Riggs right there. So Carson's rolling to the front, but
I mean, see right there, +9 since the restart. I mean, he is ripping right now. How long will it last? And we see this. This is, I like to say it's the truck, but gosh, we see it in the Cup side every time too. Like, I think it's the driver. I mean, he just fires off with so much speed, and we see it fall off, but gosh, it'd be interesting to see how long that lasts. We got to go to commercial here real quick, but you won't miss a thing. We'll be right back with a quick 30-lap shootout.
Well, you saw it on the double box. Ty Majeski, Lane Riggs, Andres Perez got tore up into turn 1. Ty Majeski's truck really hurt. All 3 trucks having a really good night, and unfortunate ending for all of them.
Yeah, and we were watching Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar thinking that those two were the 2 trucks that were going to wreck. Lo and behold, it was the 3 trucks behind them that all got tangled up.
Take a look here and see what happened into turn 1. You see Riggs on the bottom. You see them racing there. Riggs is going to try to get up there, and obviously was not clear.
Yeah, and that's a tough one, Joey. It didn't look like the 88 truck went up the racetrack at all. It's like he came up a little bit, but Riggs was definitely committed to going up the racetrack, wasn't he?
Riggs was going to be clear one way or another. And you know who heard this caution hurts one of these trucks the most, and it's going to be Lane Riggs, who has no tires.
Well, he's got no right side left either.
Or a right side, yeah. Well,
a bad break for Andres Perez, too. I mean, he was up running in the top 6, put together a really good night, and kind of an innocent bystander on that one, right along with Lane Riggs.
Is frustrated. He
just got
knows
greedy.
what happened.
Yeah, he got greedy.
Know, and none of that's on purpose, right? Like it's just hard racing. At the end of the race, he has an opportunity. He sees the front cars there in front of him where he can get a solid finish, and took a risk. And you know, we all make mistakes. We've all been there.
Yeah, I mean,
not fun.
You have to be on offense in that scenario, and you drive in there and you think you're going to clear him, and you don't clear him, and you see him pounding on the steering wheel right there because he knows how important those points are, and he knows that every race matters, and that mistake cost the team a lot of points. But pit road is open this time, so those who have tires, which is pretty much everyone, they have sticker tires and they're 3-lap scuffs. So you've got some options. Obviously, you want to put those sticker tires on right now. 25 laps to go. I would assume you burn them right here.
I think so. Austin?
Yeah, we got Christian Eckes coming to pit road. Obviously, a couple of my guys involved in that crash, but Christian Eckes, they were first one to tighten up the truck for this run, and we overshot it here, so now we're going to free it back up, maybe get better on the short run because he lost too many spots. Ricky?
Yeah, huge pit stop coming down for the 2 leaders. Caden Honeycutt has left pit road so far ahead the last couple pit stops. A lot of pressure on these guys. He's looking for air pressure adjustment. Wants to turn a little bit better through turns 1 and 2. Ross Chastain, those guys are leaving everything alone. No fuel for Ross Chastain. Wants it to be lighter coming down the stretch, guys.
Be interested to see them all, how they come off of pit road here. We got the box on Chastain and Honeycutt here.
Yeah, it looked like Chastain just had a little bit of trouble on the right side. You see Hocevar beat him out. And I think this is going to make it interesting. Ross Chastain, Carson Hocevar trying to chase down Caden Honeycutt to win this race tonight. Gonna get exciting. We'll see what happens when we come back. Well, welcome back. We're going to take a look back in time. My goodness, I'm just glad that's in color. That was a long time ago.
It's mine. I was 18 back in Talladega. Blew the right side window out of that truck. I remember that race.
18, 2012 Bristol for Brad Keselowski Racing.
Young Cindric at 17.
The elder statesman.
Man, Stenhouse waited a long time to try the Truck Series out. Why'd you wait so long, Ricky?
That was just the first opportunity I ever got. When I got into Roush Fenway Racing, we went ARCA Racing, and I think they shut the truck program down at that time and went straight to the back then Nationwide Series.
Well,
we're going to have another restart with someone staying out on old tires. We have Connor Jones, who was involved in a previous incident, so I don't believe had any tires left, right? So he's going to stay out, going to pick the top. You're probably going to see, 3 trucks, four trucks pick the bottom. Christian Eckes is going to take it. You kind of have to if you're Christian Eckes.
Yeah, I mean, it's either starting like, what would it be, 7th or 9th?
Either 9th or 4th. I'd probably choose 4th.
I'm probably going to choose that.
And the previous restart, we actually saw Timmy Hill launch pretty good. And he was 3rd off of turn 2. So that might not be a bad play for Eckes. Well, Goodyear is providing us with some great aerial coverage. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Legends aren't born, they're proven.
And this will be an interesting view from up here because I think we're about to see some chaos. We're coming to 20 laps to go. You got one truck on some older tires. You got Carson Hocevar, who we just watched had a really, really fast truck there that last run. You got Caden Honeycutt, who has a long run truck, but he's got track position. And we got Ross Chastain that's right there behind all these guys as well. You got some aggressive racers all lined up. This is exactly what you want.
Well, they've all filled up with Sunoco race fuel with 0 carbon bioethanol for this, what could be the last restart. But it's going to get crazy here, boys.
Here we go. That top lane's getting stacked hard. He's getting split.
Carson Hocevar to the bottom of Caden Honeycutt. Caden's going to try to keep it on his right rear. Ross is going to look to, Ross is going to be clear for second.
Looked like he just touched the fence right there.
Well,
Caden Honeycutt.
We've seen Ross clear himself very tight since lap 1 on the racetrack. He did it again there. It's going to pay off. It was close.
Caden Honeycutt has a little bit of a tire rub on the left rear. It looks like a little bit of damage on that truck.
Yeah, and he's not going to be happy about that. I mean, he definitely was. He was barely there, and to have the truck that he's had all night and have the contact and lose the lead there late. We've seen it so many times, and don't count Christopher Bell out right there. You see him right behind Corey Heim there in the 5 truck. We haven't talked about him all night. Let's take a look at that restart one more time right here as we see Connor Jones up on the outside. He's going to spin the tires.
And Hocevar just gets a great run, and enters on the apron. Honeycutt did his best job to try to stay on the right rear. Wasn't able to do it. That had a little bit of contact off of turn 2.
And we've been talking about this 77 truck and how fast he was coming forward. So whatever they've done to this truck, adjustment-wise, or Carson making adjustments with his line, I mean, he has driven that thing straight to the front. And we've seen Ross Chastain kind of, take advantage of certain situations with Caden Honeycutt. But I believe that this 77 truck has been as good on the takeoffs as Chastain. I don't know how much it's going to fade either one of these trucks and just how much damage is to the 11 truck of Caden Honeycutt, and will it affect the performance?
Yeah, I do think Carson Hocevar is in a pretty good spot here. I think he's maybe one of the most well-rounded trucks on the racetrack as far as short run to long run speed. The 11 truck we see here, he's definitely a long run truck, but he's only got 16 laps to go.
And the 11's problem is he's not third, right? Now he has to protect with Corey Heim, but he's also trying to get this spot from Christian Eckes. So He's going to be trying hard here, but I mean, we're coming to 15 to go. There's still a decent amount of laps in this race, but Caden really has to get going here if he's going to have a shot to run down these top 2 trucks. They're already 2.5 seconds ahead of this battle.
Yeah, he's dealing with Corey Heim here. Corey ran the top off of turn 4. Just kind of gave him a run there. He gave it a shot. Not quite enough.
Yeah, and I still believe, I mean, you see the left rear quarter panel hanging out at the bumper back there. You know, you see that damage there. I think he got into the wall just hard enough. And I know that you're like, oh, he just barely scraped the wall. It doesn't take much with the lips on these front fenders, as you see how loose that 11 truck is off of turn 4 right there of Caden Honeycutt. He gets a good run on Eckes. And to your point, Ryan, he's just going to, Eckes is going to make it hard, and it's going to take more time. You know, because he wants to get his best finish as well.
And it's definitely the hardest I've seen Caden drive this truck all night long. You see him in there working the wheel. The truck's moving a lot. It's been a pretty calm, cool, collected truck all night long. He's angry.
Oh, he's
angry. He's getting after all he can get right now because he knows he had a shot to win this thing. And they're going to make some more contact there. You got to be careful with that contact with these right fronts. We've seen it all night long. That contact will blow a right front before you know it.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, as a young driver, you definitely have to try to help control his emotions right here. I know you're not in position to win the race and you're mad, but he's led more laps tonight than he has in his whole career. And I think right now, if you're going to finish 3rd or 4th, if you're going to run 3rd or 4th right now, you better finish 3rd or 4th because, as you see,
there it goes.
Eckes kind of cut him a break right there. You don't want to finish 30th. That's my point with the 11 truck and getting all the points that you can get.
And now if he gets a late race caution, he's in position to kind of have a chance, right? In that 3rd spot, it'd be tough, but he kind of has a chance. I don't know in 12 laps he can make up 3.7 seconds, though.
You know, and the 91, the 11 here, they're racing for $50,000 in the Craftsman Truck Challenge. So these top 2 are not eligible because they now get points in the Truck Series, but that's why you saw these guys racing so hard. They're racing for a bunch of money right now.
Yeah, and that Triple Truck Challenge is over the next 3 races. You got Darlington, Bristol, and so you have the 3 events where you win this one, the next one you could win $150,000 if you win 2 out of the 3, and you win all 3 of them, you could win $500,000. So great program, that NASCAR Craftsman Triple Truck Challenge. So fun to give these guys that opportunity. As the leader crossed the line, we've reached our Craftsman 10 to go. Snuck up on us quick, but it's 10 laps to go in this race, and Ross Chastain is still right there.
Yeah, Carson Hosefar caught that lap truck in a really bad spot off of turn 2. Kind of had to pedal it, had to lift. Both these guys ripping the fence over here in 3 and 4. Chastain's been able to inch in just ever so slightly, and we saw Carson's truck get really free right in the middle of 1 and 2. So 9 laps to go. These trucks are just going to drive a little bit worse and a little bit worse each lap.
And the thing about a race like this, where you've been trying to take care of your truck all night, now you're willing to take all that risk. So if you know that the 77 is a little bit better than you, if you're Ross, you're going to put that thing a little bit closer to the wall and entry, a little more throttle through the middle of the corner, and take some chances to be able to try to figure out how to make that much more speed to get to him.
Again, remember, these 2 drivers not racing for points, only for the pride, the win, the money, everything that goes along with it. That's what they're racing for right now, and they don't really care about the risk too much. And Ross is doing a good job hanging right there, and we've seen these races at Darlington so many times come down to these late runs that the second place truck can make.
And this is when it becomes difficult. We got 2 lap trucks right there, and if you catch them in the wrong spot like Hosefar just did right there, it's going to affect the front end of that truck, and he did not clear the 33 truck of Frankie Muniz.
And he's going to lose some momentum right here into turn 1. Ross is going to have a chance. He's got to try to turn underneath him as well, though. That's a tough spot.
Yeah, and your hope right there is that the 33 truck would just get out of the way, being this late in the race, but didn't really affect the distance. It seemed like it stayed pretty close.
The tough part for Ross here, it looks like he's making his speed up against the wall. So is Carson. Like, you got to try to find a different place to do that.
And I feel like right now the 77 truck has all of a sudden gotten a little bit looser.
There's some sparks coming out of the 77 truck here this last lap. Not sure. It looks like it's coming out of the left rear.
I don't know what's sparking. You see the left front's knocked in, but it looks like it's underneath the truck somewhere it's sparking.
Is the shock off of it? Was that the shock head laying down?
Yeah, there is definitely something
Here
that's
he
wrong
comes.
with that 77 truck. It has become incredibly loose. As you see, Ross Chastain right up on the back bumper of Hocevar. But there, you can faintly see the sparks coming out of the back of that truck. Good eye, Ryan.
I mean, this is going to be a tough pass. They're coming to 4 to go.
Yeah, what's that hanging there?
This is the...
Something that shouldn't be hanging, I'm sure.
Might be the track bar.
I mean, if it was the track bar, you'd have a lot bigger moments. See if we can figure this out.
I'm not sure why he's in the wall. In the wall, spinning. Caution.
Hang on here, man. Lock it down. Lock it down. Lock it down. Don't slide back up.
Yeah, whatever it was, it definitely broke into turn 1 and forced Carson to get into the wall and spin.
Right front flat. Cool. Shocker.
He's acting like it nosed in. I was looking at the other box when he wrecked. I'm not sure exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously more happening back there than he probably realizes, but we got a couple replays right here to.
Oh, that's
that's a right front. And again, we got to wonder, was there contact? Right, that's been kind of the name of the game here tonight. At some point on that restart, was there a little bit of contact that caused that right front fender to just kind of push on it? I don't think whatever was dragging in the back caused it to
I don't
hit
either.
nose first. You think it would have swapped ends if it was something in the back of the truck? Instead, it kind of nosed in as the right front tire went flat.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be the chain dragging the ground on that's broke off to keep the rear end from drooping down. It could be. It's hard to tell exactly what is hanging down, but I think you're right. I don't think that had anything to do with this right front tire going down for sure. So you heard Carson talk about this before the race, and this is Ross Chastain's team right here. Phil Gould right there. He never even had a reaction. He knows that could be him. He's like, I'm not celebrating nothing.
No, it's way too soon to be celebrating. 5 to go. Obviously, we're going to have less than that when this thing goes back green. They're going to have to clearance that right front a little better than that.
But we heard Carson talk about just all the things that have happened to him at the end of these races at this racetrack. He actually had mentioned it in his interview, to start the evening that he had with Austin. So frustrating ends. I mean, he did a great job, and that's never the part that he doesn't do well. He always races hard and puts himself in a position to have a chance. And tonight it was just bad luck. But did another one just break?
No, it's just still that piece sparking back there. Well,
now we're going to have a restart with probably a green-white checkered.
Well, and this brings Caden Honeycutt right back into the race.
Right back into it.
Yeah.
Now, this makes me think about choose. What lane are you going to choose?
I'm choosing the bottom.
I think if you're Honeycutt, I think on old tires, we've seen them spinning tires a lot. The outside lane seems to be spinning tires more than the bottom lane getting up to speed. I think I'm going to have to pick behind the leader. It's always hard not to pick the front row when you're second place. But I think in this case, I would be thinking pretty deeply about, okay, if I can just keep up with Ross through the first corner, maybe I can make a move into one. We've seen that move work a lot, trying to turn underneath him. Ross is going to be protecting that. He's going to be really good at protecting that. But I don't know if staying in the outside lane is going to keep you in contention by the time you get off of 2.
Well, guys, Tom Brady is back on the field for the Fanatics Flag Football Classic on Fox. It's an all-star studded 3-team round-robin tournament featuring the best in the game. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox. That's pretty cool.
I don't know why they didn't invite us to play. Do you? No? No? Oh, you guys seem to know why. Okay.
Well, I think they know that we would probably be pretty bad.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we can't catch. We can't throw. Can't do much.
You drive in circles really well.
We got a little bit of audio from the 11 truck of Caden Honeycutt.
Reset here, bud. Reset. We still got a race to win here.
Or this ours. I ain't gonna let no one take it from us.
Ooh. He's feisty in there.
Caden's a fiery guy.
it.
I mean, every time I've seen him race or been around him, he is a very intense guy.
I like it. And that's what you want, right? You want a driver that's on attack mode right now. It's coming to you basically going to have pretty much a green-white checker or so. I mean, it's go time, man. You got to get after it.
All right, well, here are the overtime rules. You got basically a 2-lap shootout. The leader takes the white flag, the next flag ends the race. A caution flag flies prior to a white flag and causes a restart. There are unlimited attempts at that. So we've seen it go both ways. I've seen the truck series when we had 3 green-white checkers get it changed back, or unlimited green-white checkers get it changed back to 1 green-white checker, because at St. Louis we wrecked so many times that we basically ran out of trucks and they had to change the restart rule. But I like where we're at in today's world, but it's can go either way. You can see it go green. You can see it go 1 restart after another. So you got to get fired off on each one to try to get that track position that you need. And you're trying to take it away from Ross Chastain. That's not easy.
No, that's not easy, but, we just heard Caden Honeycutt. His team did a great job there. They said reset, right? He didn't have quite the best restart there prior. He was probably, fired up. His mind wandered. Didn't have a shot to win this race. Caution came out. Reset. And as a driver, that's a great, and especially as a younger driver, like when you have your team tell you to do that, that just gets your brain ready for the next task, right? What is next? What do I need to focus on now? Now it's this restart, right? Okay, big decision coming up as we come to the choose. Where do I want to choose? Do I take the front row? That struggled on the top. Do I take the bottom? You hate to give up the front row, like Joey said, but on used tires, I feel like the bottom is just launched so well. Caden's going to take top.
Whoa. So Christian Eckes, and now we've seen him as a long run truck, but these trucks have old tires on it, so.
Well,
I like where he's at.
I mean, that it could go both ways, right? Like if Ross spins the tires and you get a nice steady roll, I think I think what he did a couple restarts ago when the other truck stayed out on old tires, he laid back as far as probably he should without getting a penalty. Mm-hmm. And I think in this scenario, you got to try to time it so that you guess right going to the restart zone.
And the thing is, I feel like the guy on the top, if he can just stay to the outside of the leader, he's going to win that battle, especially on old tires. But it's just the launch. It's the start-finish line to turn 1 that is really the most important thing right here for the 11 truck. If he can stay outside somehow of him into turn 1, I think he's got a great spot to kind of clamp Ross, get him free. But I feel like if he loses that initial battle and initial launch, it's going to be really tough for him to take the fight to the 45.
He could be 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
Well, we got an overtime battle for the drivers only broadcast this year at Darlington. Old tires, old track. Who's it going to be? You see exactly what he did right there was what we were saying. He tried to roll that timing. He got away with a pretty close restart, but he's still only going to lose 1 row. We got one in the wall right there.
Oh, no.
Big wreck.
Oh, they're all.
Looks like the 18 truck had a right front tire down, possibly into turn 1. He went straight as soon as they got to that corner.
Stuart Friesen.
And that actually could have been a lot worse. I thought they were going to pile up like they did several years ago where they had 8 or 10 trucks in that wreck. But they did a great job being able to only wreck a couple of trucks right there.
Tyler Ankrum, whole left side's torn off of that one. You see a lot of trucks getting a lot of damage there. Not many of them spun out, but a lot of them definitely getting some damage. 25 of Corey LaJoy. Got some right side damage.
All right, let's see what happened right here.
Yeah, the 18's right front is already flat. You can see it's soft, goes in the corner and doesn't turn.
Gosh, there's not much you can do there. Like, I mean, for all these trucks behind him, I mean, they don't know he's going to have a flat tire, and they're just piling in.
Yeah, and he tried to slow up. When he felt the tire, when the truck didn't turn, he tried to slow up a little bit right there. Stacked them up a little bit, but we tore up some trucks, but man, that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I think we got an onboard here from Justin Haley. Look at this. Oh. Lane Riggs here.
Austin?
All right, guys, I'm here with crew chief of the number 45 truck, Phil Gould. You've done all you can do to this point. You've been here, done this with Ross before, so what are you looking for on these restarts, and how fun has it been to have a fast truck tonight?
It's been a lot of fun. It's been it's hard to believe it's been 2 years from this race since we last won one. And yeah, just truck's been really good all night. Ross has done a heck of a job on restarts and keeping track position, and my nerves can't handle any more of these restarts.
Well, best of luck, Phil. Hope he has some good straight drive on this restart.
Phil Gould used to be the car chief on my 29 Goodwrench car back in the day, so he's been around this sport for a long time. Great human, one of the hardest working people that I've ever been around in my whole career, and that man has the biggest hands you have ever seen in your life. He will demolish you with his hands. Well, the guy that's chasing that 45 truck right there is Caden Honeycutt, who's trying to do something only 12 other drivers have done: score his first career pole and win in the same night. Actually, one of our counterparts tonight, Austin Cindric, did it back in 2017, CTMP. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
See?
But that's great.
Well, we've had a fun race so far. We're going to do a little recap for you guys. Started early with Ben Rhodes blowing a tire after a little bit of contact up into the wall.
And after that, Christian Eckes put together a great finish to stage one, coming from far behind, and was able to wrap that one up.
Caden Honeycutt with a very fast long run truck tonight, getting stage two, and we've had multiple wrecks after that. We've seen this one that kind of started the cautions that we've now seen a few of after.
Yeah, and you see right there, Lane Riggs was not happy with his decision, and then Carson Hocevar in control of the race, leading the race, has a right front flat tire, and then wrecks.
And our most recent cause for the caution was 18 of Tyler Ankrum. Went into turn one, had a flat, nothing he can do, and piled in a handful of trucks there behind him.
Well, we had just talked about those overtime tendencies and how they would go, and I've seen it go that way more than I haven't at this racetrack. It's just when you get the opportunity to go down into turn one, and there's 4 or 5 different lanes, and everybody forgets that they don't have new tires on, and everything that could go wrong can go wrong. That one actually right there was probably not really anybody's fault. It's just a unfortunate flat tire and timing of it.
Yeah, I agree. And so we're going to re-rack them again. And again, you're going to start thinking about the choose. If you're one of these drivers, you're thinking, okay, all right, Chastain, it's a no-brainer. he's going to go to the bottom. But what is Honeycutt going to do? And all some of these other guys, it's going to be a tough call. Austin, you got anything?
Oh, you guys are talking about chooses and launches and all these other things. And Timmy Hill's played a sneaky move. He's got the only new tires in the field. He got up to 14th on that last restart. Could be a fun 2 laps for Timmy Hill here.
Wow. He's hoping for maybe one more caution. I mean, he's going to be ripping, but he doesn't have much time.
No, he doesn't have much time, but I mean, really what you need is them to get fanned out as quick as possible off of turn 2 to be able to utilize whatever lane that they're not in. I mean, when you get newer tires compared to everybody else at this track, you feel like Superman.
Just needs space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good find, Austin. We did not see that.
It's all those carrots that he ate earlier.
He saw it.
Made his vision really good.
That's what happened.
Superpowers.
Well, here we go. I think we're coming to the choose here. Let's see what the top 4 or 5 trucks do here. Be pretty interesting. So he's going back up to the outside lane. Honeycutt is kind of a replay of what we saw just a minute ago.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be harder for Honeycutt to play the same game that he played last time now that Ross knows what he's trying to do. And I mean, if it was, I would fire as soon as I got to the line, just to try to not let him roll me.
Well, I think Ross recognized that Honeycutt was trying to roll the start, right? He was trying to time him, and Ross went really late in the box last time. He just kind of let him get up there and lift before he went, and Honeycutt did a good job timing it to where he hung okay, right? He got beat on the push more than the actual launch.
And I think he's right on the verge of that roll was, I mean, it was right on the edge of being too far. And, you know, so I think that he did a good job. I'm not saying that he went too far last time. I'm just saying that the game's got to be different from the 45 this time, because I don't think he has any other chance up there of being able to launch with him.
It's the only game he's got.
That's the only game he's got.
And it's scary because how far do you go before NASCAR makes a call? You don't know, right? And it's kind of a sketchy place for a driver to be here.
All right, coming to overtime again. Green, white, checkered. To see who wins at Darlington Raceway.
There's the push from Eckes. That bottom lane's going to roll.
Eckes trying to sneak to the top.
Ross is getting way out there. That's what he wants to see.
Corey Heim is actually on new tires as well. Corey Heim's going to have a shot to win this race. Newer tires. He might have scuffs on it, but he is ripping. But he's only got 1 lap to go.
Well, it's a long ways back around at this place on old tires compared to somebody who's got new tires. Corey Heim has put himself in second position coming off of turn 2. Can he chase down Ross Chastain down the back straightaway?
He lost a little bit of momentum there at 1 and 2, but he's got the draft on the backstretch.
Drives it into turn 3, all the way up underneath Ross Chastain. He's going to drive up the racetrack.
Corey Heim's going to win this race. What a finish.
You're good. To the line. Are you serious?
Holy cow. Corey Heim wins at Darlington.
Wow.
That was awesome. I mean, he came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Dude, that was sick. That was incredible, man. Awesome job.
I mean, that was sick. I mean, and again, right? Heim time. Again, he gets in these trucks and he knows what to do. And he had the opportunity there. I guess at some point he put tires on. Restarted 9th. I mean, he straight up snookered the field on that one, right? I mean, he just got him. What a great call. Great driving. Great burnout.
Well, the other thing that it is, it's $50,000 to Corey Heim with the Triple Truck Challenge. So he's scored a little bit of cash to go with that win here at Darlington. So great night for Corey Heim. 24th career win in his 91st start.
There it is. It's Heim time.
Corey Heim, no full-time ride this year, kind of running some truck races, running some O'Reilly Series races, running some Cup races, as you see right there for 2311. But I've been beating this drum for a couple of years. Kid is ready to go Cup racing. I mean, he's done everything that he can do at this level, and love the way he carries himself. And tonight he put on a show.
One heck of a show. Going to give the flag to a lucky fan.
Well, let's get it down to Ricky.
Corey Heim talking to David Gilliland here. Corey, where did you come from? That was an unreal finish to this Darlington race. Back-to-back wins for you here. Different team, different crew chief on the box. You had to work hard for this one.
Yeah, I'm out of breath for sure. Man, we had those set of scuffs laying, and there were 5 laps fresher than everyone else's. I was like, I mean, it's worth a shot. I don't think we can win from where we're at, And damn, sure enough, I just felt like I made all the right moves. Made it 3 wide into 3 there, coming to the white, and bombed it off in there on Ross. I was shocked he gave me the bottom like that with fresher tires, but I'm so out of breath. But thankful for Chicon Garage. Glad we could get this number 5 Tundra in victory lane. I didn't even know I was racing this race until 3 weeks ago. Frontline came aboard and helped me out with this deal. So I love racing. I love winning, and just drove the crap out of it, and it worked out.
Man, that was an exciting finish for us. I guess my next question is, are you going to talk these guys into letting you run for another Triple Truck Challenge? That was 50 grand to you and the boys. Got another one in you?
I would absolutely love to if they'd have me back. We'll see. Hopefully Frontline, really anyone who wants to come on board, I don't care. I just want to drive the thing. So that was awesome. Just had a blast. I love Darlington. I love racing, and just want to do it more often.
Well, cool. Thanks for putting on a show. Congrats to you and your guys. Man, what a race. That was an exciting finish, something that I did not see happening on that last restart there.
Yeah, I'm here with Ross Chastain. Obviously, did everything right. We talked a ton about the launch, all the restarts, the gamesmanship, nailed all that, and unfortunately, tire disadvantage. Talk about it, man.
I have no idea what just happened, Austin. Yeah, like you said, I thought that our Nice Motorsports Click It, Don't Risk It Chevy, like we did so much right. And from the start of practice, stepping through it with Phil Gould and continuing to get back used to these trucks for the first time in, I don't know, 6 months or I don't know, however, whenever I ran it last summer, I thought we started the best that I've ever started coming back into the team. So, yeah, on the back, coming to the checkered, McReynolds said, the 5's there or something, he's fast. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. And he just drove by me. I had no idea. So I think that's on us as a whole that we didn't catch that. And of course, I would have ran the bottom if I thought he was even going to be close. But I just thought he got a good restart. So bummer. We're kicking off Florida watermelon season right about now. So, it's a good time to get back in this truck and start off the weekend well.
Copy. Well, sorry about the luck there. It was great restart. But, yeah, back to you guys in the booth and buy some watermelons.
Well, I think Ross Chastain was as shocked as we all were up in the booth. And you see the 5 truck right here just get a huge run down the back straightaway on the last lap.
And he just, exactly what Ross said. He just barreled it down to the bottom, and that's tire advantage. Just able to wrap, and you would think, Ross might have a run there at the end, but just not enough tire. And gosh, how many last lap passes have we seen here at Darlington in 3 and 4? It seems like we see it so often. What an amazing racetrack we get to go to here.
Well, this burnout was pretty awesome too. I think that, when you have won as many races as Corey Heim has won in the truck series, you know exactly what you need to do to make an awesome burnout.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the season that Corey Heim put it together last year, right, he's picking up right where he left off. Like you said, he's not running anything full-time this year. He's kind of jumping around, so I bet this was a great emotional win for him. And Austin has another one of our truckers.
Yeah, I'm going to break up the media here, if y'all don't mind. Caden, sorry about the run there. It was a great run, and we had fun watching y'all all night. Tell us about the couple restarts there, the gamesmanship with the first one you nailed. It was fun to watch. Talk about your truck, talk about your race.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely the best truck long run for sure. I just took my time in those stages and let those guys burn their tires up, and I went right back at it and was able to get that second stage there. I thought I could have had the first one. Just me and Corey were racing way too hard for that stage win, let someone else win it. But yeah, I mean, the last restart, just the top lane wasn't preferred. It was like that all night, obviously. Just the bottom was really good. I tried not to spin them as hard as I possibly could, but it was just too good on the bottom. And then by the time the 5 got by me and then the 91 was in front of him, I pretty much just committed to helping him and see if he can go up there and try to win the race. And I don't know how in the world he did, but he did. So great job for Toyota Racing. Everyone at Tricon, that was good. Just hate it wasn't us, man. I mean, we definitely were the best. Just, you know, when you line up against Cup guys, they really don't care about restarts or nothing, so they just plug you in the fence or, you know, do what they have to do to win it. And that's what happened to me when Husservarg went to the bottom, and he shoved me in 1 and 2, and then Ross did it again off 2 and just flattened the right side out too good. So it is what it is, but thanks to Tricon, 11 team, Safe Flight, and everyone that supports our deal. Time will come.
Copy. We'll keep your chin up. If it makes you feel better, I got to go race against those guys on Sunday. So, Ricky, on to you.
Yeah, we're down here with Christian Eckes. Top 3 finish. No, probably not the end result that you thought you were going to have there, especially the first stage. Starting 16th, running up, winning stage 1. Looked like you struggled on pit road a little bit tonight, but looked like you had a solid truck. Debriefing here with Chad Norris and Dave Ellens there. Tell me about your night.
Yeah, it went pretty well. I wasn't really sure what to expect tonight, starting 16th, but the Adaptive 1 Chevy was really, really solid in the first stage, but I felt like our balance was kind of maxed out and everybody else had some work to do, and they got better, and we just kind of stayed about the same. So overall, super proud of the effort. It's been a rough couple weeks with some internal stuff, so you know, to have a good run is definitely important, and yeah, we'll move on to, I guess, it's Rockingham now.
Nice job. Well, your stash and your 90s outfit throwback this weekend, you nailed it. Congrats on a top 3 finish there.
Well, that's a clean stash compared to yours, Ryan. So
what are you trying to say?
Well, I'm just saying yours is healthier than his.
I think it's got to grow out a little bit more.
Yeah, that one's a little short. I would agree. I think you guys all have different opinions. You see the points here for our truckers. Chandler Smith up on top, and every week matters in the new chase format.
For sure. So I'm going to point out Lane Riggs. He's back to 3rd, but he had a good save on this thing, able to come back and finish 12th tonight. That's a good save in the points. You see some guys that need
Queen,
to...
11th. Tyler Ankrum with an unfortunate finish to his night goes back to 12th.
Well, you always got to pay attention to the points, but man, we had a great race tonight. I think that Darlington delivered exactly what we all hoped it would. We had a few wrecks. We had some lead changes on the last lap. Exciting night.
It was, and Corey Heim just drove the wheels off of it. And the thing that gets me about all this, he's like, I'd love for someone to sponsor me so I can drive more races. The kid's a shoe. He needs to be in the truck more often, but a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, incredible night. We saw comers and goers. We saw different lanes. We saw some trucks we thought were the best on short runs, trucks we thought were the best on long runs, some wild restarts. How did that all play out? And that stuff is just Darlington, right? And it's how do you go about a whole race? So, I mean, it was an absolute pleasure to be up here again.
And I think when you look at Caden Honeycutt, I feel like he had the best truck tonight. He got put in a few situations to where he got tore up. You could hear the frustration that he had afterwards. But I still feel like he learned a lot tonight, and I feel like that's going to be one of the best teams to race for this championship down the road.
You said it, for the championship, the long haul. It was a big deal for him to get a good run.
Yeah. Well, it was a fun night. We had our drivers-only broadcast. We've been doing this for several years. I'm happy that you guys still let me be a part of it. I race as a retired guy now, having fun. So we got our 2 guys down on pit road. Austin's whining because it's cold. Ricky just stands there because he knows Austin's kind of a wimp. So suck it up, Austin.
Does this still work? Is this on?
Yeah. No, cut his mic off. He can't talk anymore. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. I enjoyed it tonight. I feel like everything that we've done has always been fun. Next truck race, Rockingham, Saturday, April 3rd, 4:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Sunday, the Cup race on Fox. Race day starts at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Cup race 3 p.m. Eastern. Next on FS1, NHRA qualifying from Phoenix. Just want to thank everybody for tolerating us tonight. We had a great time, and I hope that you enjoyed it.